The vast observation deck aboard the Kraxan flagship Dominance offered an unobstructed view of the blue planet below. High Admiral Nexus stood with his hands clasped behind his back, multiple rows of achievement markers glinting on his ceremonial armor. Earth rotated slowly beneath them, peaceful and seemingly unaware of the armada gathering in its orbit. The corner of his mouth twitched upward in what passed for a smile among his species. "Primitive," he muttered, his scaled fingers tapping against the reinforced glass. Another simple conquest for the glory of the Kraxan Empire. The intelligence reports had been clear. Earth possessed rudimentary space travel capabilities, basic orbital defenses, and a fractured political system. The planet's military forces still relied heavily on chemical propulsion and nuclear fission, nothing that could possibly challenge the might of a civilization that had conquered 17 star systems in the past century alone. High Admiral, his second-in-command, Commander Vex, approached with a data tablet. The preliminary scans are complete. Their orbital installations appear to be primarily civilian in nature. Communication satellites, weather monitoring stations, and a small research platform they call a space station. She paused, mandibles clicking in amusement. They still use chemical rockets to reach it. Nexus nodded, satisfaction evident in his posture. The conquest would be swift, adding another resource-rich world to the Empire's growing collection. Yet something about the situation nagged at the edges of his consciousness. The humans had achieved spaceflight remarkably quickly after developing powered flight. Their technological progression curve was steeper than any species the Kraxan had encountered before. "Send in the stealth probes," he ordered. "I want a complete tactical analysis before we begin the invasion. Focus on their military installations and technological centers." As the probes descended through Earth's atmosphere, cloaked from detection by what should have been far superior technology, the first anomaly appeared. 3 of the 12 probes simply vanished, their signals cutting off abruptly without any warning or distress beacon activation. "Atmospheric interference," Commander Vex suggested, though her tone carried a note of uncertainty. "The planet's magnetic field is unusually strong." Nexus wasn't convinced, but he had conquered too many worlds to let minor setbacks disturb him. The remaining probes continued their mission, gathering data on Earth's defensive capabilities. Everything they discovered reinforced the initial assessment. A species barely beginning to reach for the stars, their most advanced weapons, simple nuclear devices, and kinetic energy weapons. Yet the humans had achieved something none of their previous conquests had managed. They had detected the presence of the Kraxan fleet, despite their advanced cloaking technology. The proof came in the form of subtle changes in their orbital patterns, slight adjustments to satellite positions that would have seemed random to less experienced observers. "They know we're here," Nexus realized, his excitement growing. "This would make the conquest more interesting, at least. Prepare the first wave. We'll target their primary military installations and government centers. A standard shock and awe campaign should be sufficient." The Kraxan war machine moved with practiced precision. Ships took up attack positions, weapon systems powered up, and invasion forces prepared for deployment. Everything proceeded according to the standard conquest protocols that had served them so well across countless campaigns. Then something unexpected happened. As the first Kraxan ships began their atmospheric entry, their sensors detected a massive energy surge from the planet's surface. Before anyone could react, brilliant beams of light shot upward from locations that had appeared completely empty in their scans. "Impossible," Commander Vex whispered, her scales paling as the first wave of Kraxan ships began exploding in perfectly synchronized destruction. "They couldn't have hidden this level of technology from our scans." But they had. As the Kraxan fleet reeled from the unexpected resistance, more surprises emerged. Hidden bases on Earth's moon activated, revealing weapon systems far more advanced than anything the humans should have possessed. Orbital platforms that had appeared to be simple communications satellites transformed, deploying energy shields and weapon systems that matched or exceeded Kraxan technology. High Admiral Nexus watched in growing horror as his carefully planned invasion crumbled in the opening minutes. The humans hadn't just prepared for alien contact, they had anticipated it, planned for it, and developed countermeasures in absolute secrecy. "Full retreat," he ordered, his voice tight with rage and disbelief. "Regroup at the secondary position. We need to reassess everything we thought we knew about this species." As the Kraxan fleet withdrew to the safety of the outer solar system, Earth's true defensive capabilities continued to reveal themselves. Massive ships emerged from underground bases and underwater facilities, their designs unlike anything the Kraxan had encountered before. They moved with impossible grace for their size, using propulsion systems that defied the Empire's understanding of physics. The humans had achieved something unprecedented. They had completely deceived an interstellar empire about their true capabilities. Their apparent technological backwardness had been an elaborate deception, a carefully crafted facade hiding a civilization far more advanced than anyone had suspected. Commander Vex approached her superior, her movements hesitant. "High Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, using our own encryption protocols." The message was simple but carried implications that would shake the Kraxan Empire to its foundations. "We've been expecting you. Perhaps now would be a good time to discuss terms of peaceful coexistence." Nexus stared at the blue planet that had just shattered every assumption his civilization had made about primitive species. The humans hadn't just prepared for first contact, they had orchestrated it, allowing the Kraxan to walk into a trap of their own making. For the first time in his long military career, the High Admiral felt something he had never experienced before: respect for an enemy who had outmaneuvered him before the battle had even begun. The real question now wasn't how to conquer Earth, but how to survive the diplomatic aftermath of attacking a civilization that had just proven itself far more capable than anyone had imagined. The Kraxan Empire's fatal mistake hadn't been attacking Earth. It had been believing their own assumptions about humanity's limitations. Deep within a classified facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Sarah Chen stood before a holographic display of the solar system, watching as red dots representing the Kraxan fleet retreated toward the orbit of Mars. Around her, the command center hummed with activity as humanity's hidden defense force prepared for the next phase of their carefully orchestrated plan. "They took the bait," her XO, Commander James Rodriguez, reported with a satisfied smile. "The Kraxan fleet is regrouping exactly where we predicted they would." Admiral Chen nodded, her expression remaining neutral despite the success of their initial deception. For decades, humanity had maintained the illusion of technological inferiority, while secretly preparing for this very moment. The underground shipyards, the lunar defense platforms, the quantum shield network, all hidden in plain sight, while Earth appeared to struggle with basic rocket technology. "Begin Phase 2, she ordered, her voice carrying across the command center. "Deploy the Artemis fleet." Throughout the solar system, seemingly empty regions of space came alive. Quantum camouflage fields dropped, revealing sleek warships that had been lying in wait for months. The vessels represented the pinnacle of human military technology, ships powered by zero-point energy drives, armed with weapons that could manipulate the fabric of space-time itself. Aboard the Kraxan flagship Dominance, High Admiral Nexus received the sensor data with growing alarm. Where moments ago space had appeared empty, now hundreds of human warships materialized, their formations creating a perfect containment net around his fleet. "Impossible," he muttered, watching as more ships appeared. Their technological level, it was all a deception. Commander Vex's scales had taken on a pale hue. "High Admiral, we're detecting energy signatures unlike anything in our database. Their weapon systems, they're not just advanced, they're operating on principles we don't understand." The human ships moved with precision that spoke of long preparation and extensive combat training. Their formation was flawless, each vessel positioned to support its companions while maintaining overlapping fields of fire. This was no hastily assembled defense force. This was a military that had been preparing for interstellar warfare for generations. Admiral Chen's flagship, The TNS Odyssey emerged from its hiding place in the shadow of Mars' largest moon. The vessel dwarfed anything in the Kraxan fleet, its hull incorporating technology that had been developed in absolute secrecy by a unified Earth working toward a single goal. "Open a channel to the Kraxan flagship," Chen ordered, standing before the communications array. When the connection was established, she spoke with calm authority. "High Admiral Nexus, this is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force. Your invasion fleet has entered restricted space and engaged in hostile actions against Earth. You have two options: immediate surrender, or we demonstrate exactly why hiding our true capabilities was the least of our preparations." Aboard the Dominance, Nexus felt the weight of generations of Kraxan military doctrine pressing down on him. The Empire never surrendered. It was a fundamental principle that had served them well across countless conquests. But as he studied the sensor readings of the human fleet, he realized this was unlike anything they had faced before. "You deceived us," he responded, trying to maintain his composure. "Your primitive technology, your divided nations." "A necessary deception," Chen interrupted. "We've been watching your empire's expansion for decades. Each species you encountered revealed their full capabilities, tried to negotiate from a position of perceived strength. We chose a different approach." The tension in space could almost be felt as both fleets held their positions. The humans had achieved what no other species had managed. They had completely reversed the usual dynamics of first contact with the Kraxan Empire. Nexus was about to respond when the sensors detected new energy signatures. More human ships were appearing, these emerging from what appeared to be fold points in space itself, technology that the Kraxan had theorized but never successfully developed. "That's our Helios fleet arriving from the Kuiper Belt facilities," Chen explained, allowing a hint of pride to enter her voice. "We didn't just prepare for defense, High Admiral. We've been expanding beyond our solar system for quite some time, all while maintaining our carefully crafted image of technological inferiority." The revelation hit Nexus like a physical blow. The humans hadn't just hidden their true capabilities. They had achieved technological supremacy while appearing to be centuries behind the Kraxan. Every scout report, every analysis, every assumption had played directly into humanity's strategy. Commander Vex approached her superior, her voice low. "High Admiral, our tactical analysis suggests their technology significantly exceeds our own. The energy readings from their smallest vessels match our capital ships. We cannot win this engagement." Nexus stared at the tactical display, watching as more human ships took position around his fleet. The Empire had walked into a trap generations in the making, and only now did he understand the true scope of humanity's preparation. They hadn't just prepared to defend themselves, they had prepared to reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. "Admiral Chen," he finally responded, his voice carrying the weight of his realization. "Perhaps we should discuss those terms of peaceful coexistence after all." In the Pacific Command Center, Admiral Chen allowed herself a small smile. Phase 2 had succeeded beyond their expectations. Now came the truly challenging part, introducing the galaxy to a humanity that was done hiding its capabilities, while preventing the panic that would ensue when the other spacefaring civilizations realized just how thoroughly they had been deceived. High Admiral Nexus's response to Admiral Chen's ultimatum came in the form of a massive energy surge across the Kraxan fleet. Despite being outmatched, generations of Imperial doctrine wouldn't allow him to surrender without a fight. Plasma cannons charged, and targeting systems locked onto the human vessels. "The Kraxan are powering weapons," Commander Rodriguez reported calmly in the Pacific Command Center. "All ships detecting targeting locks." Admiral Chen hadn't expected the Kraxan to surrender easily. Their empire had expanded through conquest for too long to simply accept defeat. "Execute defense pattern Omega. Let's show them exactly what they're dealing with." As the Kraxan fleet opened fire, their plasma beams and quantum torpedoes streaking across space, humanity's true defensive capabilities revealed themselves. The attacks that should have devastated the human fleet instead encountered something unprecedented. The TNS Odyssey and its companion ships activated their quantum field generators. Space itself seemed to bend around them, the Kraxan weapons finding their paths twisted and redirected. Some shots passed harmlessly through apparent ships that were actually holograms, while others were caught in localized time dilation fields that effectively froze them in space. Commander Vex watched in horror as the Kraxan's opening salvo achieved absolutely nothing. High Admiral, our weapons, they're not even reaching their targets. The humans are manipulating space-time itself. Impossible, Nexus muttered, but the evidence was undeniable. The humans hadn't just matched Kraxan technology. They had surpassed it in ways that seemed to defy the laws of physics themselves. Admiral Chen's voice came through the command channel again. That was your free demonstration, High Admiral. Now, allow us to show you why hiding our capabilities was actually the kindest thing we could have done. The human fleet moved with synchronized precision. Ships that had appeared to be capital vessels suddenly split into multiple smaller craft, each equipped with technology that matched the Kraxan's largest ships. The Helios fleet, positioned at the edge of the engagement zone, activated massive arrays that began manipulating the local gravitational fields. Target their propulsion systems, Chen ordered. Minimal casualties. We're making a point, not starting a war. The human attack was unlike anything the Kraxan had ever encountered. Instead of conventional weapons, the Earth ships deployed systems that interfered directly with the fundamental forces of nature. Quantum entanglement beams linked with the Kraxan ship's drive systems, causing them to desynchronize and fail. Localized gravity wells appeared around key vessels, holding them in place as effectively as any tractor beam. High Admiral. Vex's voice carried an edge of panic. They're not just beating our technology. They're denying basic physics itself. Our shields, our weapons, nothing is working as it should. Nexus watched as ship after ship in his fleet lost power, their crews trapped but unharmed, as the humans systematically demonstrated their overwhelming technological superiority. The Kraxan Empire had always assumed that their understanding of physics and military technology was near its theoretical limits. The humans were proving that assumption devastatingly wrong. In the Pacific Command Center, Admiral Chen monitored the battle's progress. The quantum AI networks integrated into their ships were predicting and countering Kraxan tactics before they could even be fully implemented. Every strategy in the Imperial combat doctrine was being rendered obsolete in real time. The Kraxan flagship is attempting to open a fold space corridor, Rodriguez reported. They're trying to escape. Chen nodded. Let them try. They'll find that interesting. As the Dominants attempted to create an escape route, their fold space generators encountered something unprecedented. The human fleet had already established a quantum field matrix throughout the battle space. Any attempt at faster-than-light travel would simply feed energy into the human containment system. This is impossible, Nexus said, his voice barely a whisper as he watched his flagship's most sophisticated systems fail against human countermeasures. Our best scientists, our most advanced research. How long have you been this far ahead of us? Admiral Chen's response was diplomatic, but carried an edge of steel. Long enough to know exactly how to counter everything in your arsenal, High Admiral. Your empire is conquered through technological superiority for generations. We simply ensured that when you found Earth, you would encounter something beyond your ability to conquer. The battle, if it could even be called that, was over in minutes. The entire Kraxan fleet hung powerless in space, held in quantum stasis fields while their crews watched helplessly as human ships moved freely around them. Not a single life had been lost, but the message was unmistakable. Humanity could have destroyed them at any time. In the command center, Chen turned to her XO. Signal the diplomatic corps. It's time for Phase 3, introducing the galaxy to a humanity that's done pretending to be primitive. And inform the Council that Operation Hidden Shield was a complete success. As the human fleet maintained their containment of the Kraxan forces, the true scope of Earth's preparation became clear. They hadn't just prepared for this single encounter. They had developed the means to fundamentally reshape the balance of power throughout known space. The age of expansion through conquest was about to end, replaced by something the galaxy had never truly seen. Peace enforced by a civilization that had hidden its true nature until the perfect moment to reveal it. The news of the Kraxan Empire's defeat spread through galactic communication channels like a shockwave. Within hours, every major civilization had received detailed footage of the battle, carefully released by Earth's diplomatic corps. The message was clear. Humanity had not only stopped the supposedly invincible Kraxan fleet, but had done so without a single casualty. In the deep space diplomatic facility hastily assembled near Mars orbit, Admiral Chen faced not just High Admiral Nexus, but also representatives from 12 other spacefaring civilizations who had demanded immediate audience with Earth. The chamber was tense, filled with beings who had just discovered that everything they thought they knew about humanity was carefully crafted fiction. You've had quantum manipulation technology for decades. The Vexor representative's translator barely kept up with their agitated speech patterns, while trading with us for basic fusion technology. Chen smiled diplomatically. We needed to understand how other civilizations would treat those they perceived as technologically inferior. Your reactions told us everything we needed to know. The evidence was undeniable. Humanity had maintained multiple faces to the galaxy, appearing primitive to some, moderately advanced to others, always carefully managing perceptions while building their true capabilities in secret. The quantum shields that had so easily defeated the Kraxan fleet were just the surface of their technological achievements. High Admiral Nexus, still trying to maintain his dignity despite his fleet's containment, spoke up. Your deception goes against all diplomatic protocols. The Empire will not. The Empire, Chen interrupted smoothly, is no longer in a position to make demands. She gestured, and a holographic display filled the chamber, showing hundreds of human ships emerging from stealth near key Kraxan worlds. While your fleet was approaching Earth, we were positioning our forces throughout your territory. Every major military installation, shipyard, and command center in your empire is currently under our observation. The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembled representatives. Humanity hadn't just defeated a Kraxan invasion force. They had completely infiltrated the most powerful empire in known space without detection. How? A representative from the stellar Concordat demanded. Our long-range sensors are based on principles we moved beyond 30 years ago. Chen completed the thought. While the galaxy watched our chemical rockets and celebrated our first steps into space, we were already operating in dimensions your science hasn't discovered yet. The display shifted, showing Earth's true defense network. Quantum field generators embedded in seemingly primitive satellites, stealth ships hiding in plain sight throughout the solar system, research facilities that had mapped the galaxy while appearing to be simple astronomical observatories. For generations, Chen continued, we watched as the strong dominated the weak. As advanced civilizations exploited those they deemed primitive, we decided to change the rules of the game. In the Kraxan Empire's home system, their military command watched helplessly as human ships decloaked around their most heavily defended installations. The vessels simply appeared, their technology making a mockery of the Empire's most sophisticated detection systems. Your empire, Chen addressed Nexus directly, has conquered 17 systems in the past century. Each of those conquests was observed, documented, and analyzed. We learned your tactics, your technology, and your weaknesses. And now we're going to help those systems regain their independence. The diplomatic chamber erupted in chaos as the implications became clear. Humanity wasn't just revealing their true power. They were announcing their intention to fundamentally reshape the galaxy's political structure. This is an act of war, Nexus declared, though his voice lacked conviction. Chen's response was calm but carried absolute authority. No, High Admiral. This is the end of war as your empire knows it. We're implementing a new paradigm, one where technological superiority comes with responsibility rather than the right to conquer. The quantum displays showed more human ships emerging throughout known space, not just military vessels, but humanitarian ships, diplomatic craft, and scientific vessels. Earth had prepared for every aspect of their revelation. To every civilization represented here, Chen addressed the chamber. We offer a choice. Join us in building a galaxy where advancement is shared, where the strong protect the weak, where conquest is replaced by cooperation, or maintain your current paths and face the consequences. The threat was subtle but clear. Humanity had hidden their true nature for generations, building the capacity to reshape galactic civilization. Now they were offering a chance for peaceful transition to a new order, while demonstrating they had the power to enforce it if necessary. In orbit around Earth, the contained Kraxan fleet served as a powerful symbol. The most advanced empire in known space, neutralized without a single shot fired, their best technology rendered obsolete by human innovation they hadn't even detected. Phase 3 is proceeding as planned. Commander Rodriguez reported in the Earth Command Center. All positioned forces report ready. The galaxy's power structure will never be the same. Chen nodded, watching as the diplomatic representatives struggled with the reality of their new situation. Humanity had played the long game, building their strength in secret while studying the galaxy's civilizations. Now they were ready to guide known space toward a future where technological advancement served the many rather than empowering the conquest of the few. 1 month after humanity's revelation of their true capabilities, the galaxy was still adjusting to its new reality. The massive chamber of the newly established Galactic Cooperative Council on Luna housed representatives from over 30 civilizations, including several that had been under Kraxan control just weeks before. The atmosphere was charged with a mixture of anticipation and lingering unease. High Admiral Nexus, now serving as the Kraxan Empire's diplomatic representative rather than its military leader, sat rigidly in his designated position. The past month had seen the systematic dismantling of his empire's military dominance, all without a single shot fired in anger. Human ships had simply appeared throughout Kraxan space, their quantum technology rendering the Empire's most sophisticated defenses obsolete. Admiral Chen stood at the central podium, her uniform pristine as she addressed the assembled representatives. The transition period has proceeded according to schedule. All formerly occupied systems have been granted independence, with human peacekeeping forces ensuring their security during the stabilization period. The success of humanity's intervention was undeniable. Worlds that had suffered under imperial rule for generations were now free, their populations protected by human ships that seemed to defy the laws of physics themselves. But it was humanity's next announcement that would truly reshape galactic civilization. Today, Chen continued, Earth reveals the true scope of our scientific advancement. We're not just here to end imperial expansion. We're here to share knowledge that will benefit all species. The chamber's quantum displays activated, showing technological innovations that made even the most advanced civilizations' achievements seem primitive. Clean energy systems that could power entire planets without harmful emissions. Medical technology that could cure diseases thought incurable. Transportation systems that could eliminate poverty and scarcity throughout known space. Your empire, Chen addressed Nexus directly but spoke to all present, hoarded advanced technology to maintain power. We developed it to share, to lift up all sentient species. This is the fundamental difference in our philosophies. The evidence of humanity's true nature continued to unfold. They hadn't just developed superior military technology. They had solved problems that had plagued civilizations for millennia. And they had done it all while maintaining the illusion of being a primitive, divided species struggling with basic spaceflight. But surely, the Vexor representative interrupted, you can't intend to simply give away such advanced technology. The economic implications alone. Economic systems based on artificial scarcity, Chen replied smoothly, become obsolete when true abundance is achieved. We're not just sharing technology, we're introducing a new paradigm for civilization itself. In orbit around Earth, The formerly mighty Kraxan fleet was being systematically upgraded with human technology, not as a prize of war, but as a demonstration of humanity's commitment to their new approach. Ships that had come to conquer were being transformed into vessels that would help protect and serve the galaxy's newly liberated peoples. Your deception was masterful, Nexus admitted during a recess, approaching Chen in a private chamber. We never suspected, never imagined that your apparent weakness was such a carefully crafted facade. Chen's response was measured but carried a weight of centuries of human planning. We learned from Earth's own history. When technologically advanced civilizations encountered less developed ones, the results were often tragic. We decided that when humanity joined the galactic community, we would do so from a position that allowed us to prevent such tragedies. The future was unfolding exactly as humanity had planned. Their ships now patrolled trade routes that had once been plagued by pirates. Their medical technology was ending suffering on worlds that had known only hardship. Their quantum communication networks were uniting species that had been isolated for generations. The Age of Empires is over, Chen announced when the session resumed. The age of cooperation begins now. Earth stands ready to help all species achieve their full potential, not through conquest or competition, but through mutual advancement. The galaxy was transforming. The Kraxan Empire, once the greatest military power in known space, was becoming something new. A federation of worlds united by shared progress rather than forced submission. Other civilizations were following suit, recognizing that humanity's approach offered benefits that no amount of military conquest could achieve. In the Earth Command Center, Commander Rodriguez reviewed the final reports from Operation Hidden Shield. All objectives achieved, Admiral. The galaxy's power structure has been completely reorganized, without a single casualty. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Humanity's greatest victory hadn't been in defeating the Kraxan fleet. It had been in proving that superior technology could be used for more than just domination. They had hidden their true nature not out of fear, but to ensure that when they finally revealed themselves, they could reshape the galaxy into something better. The final pieces of humanity's grand strategy were falling into place. The galaxy was entering a new era, one where advancement served all species, where cooperation replaced conquest, and where humanity's long deception was revealed as perhaps the greatest act of galactic altruism in known history. As the council session concluded, representatives from worlds that had been enemies just months ago left as partners in a new galactic order. Earth had achieved what no other civilization had managed. They had ended the cycle of conquest and domination not through force, but through foresight, patience, and the wisdom to use their technological superiority for the benefit of all. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, heralding the dawn of a new age in galactic civilization, an age shaped by a humanity that had proven itself far wiser than anyone had imagined.